My name is Roy Wells. I'm President and Managing Director of Triad Strategies. Triad Strategies is a public affairs firm. By public affairs, I mean a firm that does both government relations and public relations. So our purpose is to elevate our clients' voices for decisions that matter. So we use a series of different strategies and tactics to put our clients' issues before decision makers at the state, county, and even at the federal level to achieve positive outcomes that they're looking for. So I've always believed that mindset drives behaviors and behaviors drive outcomes. And we've always had a strong culture inside the firm. And it was one that, as we began to scale, I wanted to make sure we didn't lose that secret sauce, which is our culture. Because I think it's our culture which supports our team approach to winning in the marketplace that really differentiates us from other firms. So we had a good culture, and it was, how could we get a better culture? How could we go, the way Jim Collins says, from being good to being great? And I think the fundamentals were a pathway to achieve that.
The fundamentals certainly in one way, shape, or form find their way into discussions with clients. We utilize the thought process of each of those fundamentals as best we can in any given situation to allow them to understand why we may advise a certain way and how we think that that advisory point is going to benefit them as it moves forward on whatever issue they may be working on. I think certainly when I looked at the scope of fundamentals from a numerical perspective, I thought 30 seemed a lot. But when you really dive into it on a day-to-day basis and understand the nuances of each of them and how they apply to the firm and to how we work with our businesses and with one another, I think it eventually rolled out to make a lot more sense than I had initially thought.
We didn't have a tangible way of explaining to new employees what our firm culture was. It was this conversation or vibe, for lack of a better word, but professionally, what does a culture look like and why are we choosing this culture? The fundamentals provided us with a translation of what our values were and what our culture was trying to become. So as a young associate seeing this group of individuals, highly adept and very knowledgeable, function kind of on their own, the fundamentals brought our new and talented senior associates, our new and young associates together at the table as one.
So when we rolled it out and brought everybody together and talked about the fundamentals, I knew that the senior team had my back. We believed that people would embrace it. And I will tell you, I think it was those fundamentals and our constant practicing of those fundamentals that not only got us through COVID, but we emerged from COVID a much stronger and more successful company. And I think that the CultureWise program, I think the fundamental behaviors, but the weekly quiz, the insights through the app, are all things that just remind us every day how we can be better at what we do.
I don't know that I see a day in Triad's future ever where they're not a part of what we do in our day-to-day and they're not a part of the conversation. They have very much become a part of in my opinion, of our core foundation of who we are, how we operate, and how we act within the marketplace. So there is a weekly insight. It is written by one of the team members to highlight whatever the fundamental is of that week. And then we are able to add our lived experiences, our interactions, our thoughts, our perspectives into that particular insight, bring it to the table for the full group, and then have a very rich discussion around what this means, why my perspective may be this one, why your perspective may be another one, and then come together in a way that just adds to the learning and the understanding and allows us to make it more applicable to our day-to-day activity.
We're blessed here to have some of the most outstanding talent anywhere in this state, and I would challenge anywhere in the country. So I've got this incredible amount of talent that we can choose from to put the teams together, but it's the culture that underpins all of it. Without the culture, without everyone swimming in the same direction, without the level of trust that everyone has in each other, then none of that works. Those high-performing teams become teams that are siloed, or they're not all sort of focused on the same goal. They don't trust each other. So we're really blessed here that, when I take a step back and I say, you know what, this is a team I think is going to work for this client, 99.9% of the time, that ends up being the case. And it's the culture that underpins all of it. It's the glue that holds the whole thing together.
And so I think what CultureWise did and what the fundamentals do and what David talks about all the time is, you can't get from here to there without some intention. And that intentionality is really key. And that's what ritualizing the fundamentals does for us. It gives us the intention to build a high-performing team, to get better, to go back to what I said earlier, to go from good to great. You only get there with intention. You only get there with strategy.